So this national championship game, to me, between Miami, Florida, and Indiana, is a tale of two quarterbacks and a tale of two programs. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Fernando Mendoza, he's a Heisman winner. He's the consensus number one overall pick in this year's upcoming draft. Carson Beck, he is a transfer from Georgia. At one point, he was viewed as potentially a top prospect in the NFL draft. He struggled his last year at Georgia. Some people thought, I like the way some people thought Arch Manning did this year, played his way out of a first round pick and maybe could slide down to day three. I think the way he's played this year, he slid back up to day two. It is really a perseverance story. For Miami, Florida, as a franchise, we all know the good old days of the Miami Hurricanes, of course, led by Jimmy Johnson. For Indiana, before Kurt Cinetti got there, they've only had two winning seasons in their entire franchise history. Currently, Miami Florida's head coach Mario Cristobal, we know he left Florida for a little bit, came back to take care of a sick family member, of course, after coaching Oregon. Now he's back in Florida, and he's an offensive line, defensive line, physical, big guy. We're going to beat you up in the trenches. Kurt Zanetti reminds me of Indiana now a lot like the ways that Nick Saban coached Alabama in their heydays, or even the way that Kirby Smart coached Georgia when they won those back-to-back national championships. Very tough, hard nosed, but disciplined. Don't commit penalties. Don't turn the football over. Opportunistic, very precise, methodical, and just beat you down and play with confidence. I think Miami, they've been for a while. They obviously, in that 10-7 matchup, a very ugly game earlier on, but they did win that game. Then they take on Ohio State in the quarterfinal round, New Year's Eve. They take down Ryan Day. And then again, we go here with Ole Miss, a very controversial play. Obviously, the end of the game, was it pass interference or not? Probably. At the end of the day, Miami goes out on top. But they have taken on an Ohio State offense that's very lethal. They held them down. But Ryan Day, as we've seen in the past with Ohio State, he is a better head coach and game manager than he is a play caller. And I do wonder with the 4 weeks off that Ohio State had and losing Brian Hartline as their offensive coordinator, if that made a difference in that game. And Ole Miss's defense is not great. Even against Georgia, they were in a shootout. And so while Miami has been a very improbable team, it does feel like to me that this Indiana team feels like it's on a roll. I think Miami is a great story, but this game to me does feel like it could be a Georgia TCU esque route, if you will, for my purposes. I do think that Indiana will go on to win the game, and I think that we could take a look at this Indiana team as one of right up there with the 2019 LSU. I believe that would be the 2021 Georgia team, the second of their back-to-back national championships. Um, as maybe three of the most dominating college football teams we have seen in a long time. And again, with this Indiana team, I do not think it is just the transfer portal and the NIL, and I don't think it's that way with Miami either. I think Kurt Zanetti and Mario Cristobal are two coaches that know their team's identity. I just think Kurt Zanetti has a little bit more talent on his side of the ball. They are a little bit more technically coached. I think if Miami's going to stay in the game, they're going to have to shorten the game. They're going to have to muddy it up, and they're going to have to be in the game in the first half because we're doomed to Oregon in that semifinal game. And I did not think Dante Moore played that well at all. I'm not the biggest fan of Dante Moore of Oregon. I think he should stay in school another year. But what doomed Oregon was the turnovers. And Indiana feasted on them, whether it was the pick six to start the game, which felt like it took all the momentum out of Oregon to begin with. The two bad fumbles by Dante Moore, and you can just not make mistakes against Indiana. I do feel like Miami is going to almost have to play a perfect game. Do I think they could pull off an upset? Of course. I do think it's possible. If there's one thing we've learned during these NFL playoffs, the college football playoffs, every game starts 0-0 There are 60 minutes left on the clock. Whoever makes the better adjustments in the second half, whoever can play more technical sound football, is more than likely on that day going to win the game. But I do think that this Indiana team, they've been out to prove. People like me who said, yes, they did go to Oregon, but we don't know how good they are. I wasn't sure they were going to be here. I did not predict them to win the Big Ten championship, but they are looking to put a cap on a dominating season. And for Miami, they have been a great story. Again, if they did not beat Notre Dame in week one, who's to say that they are here right now and that Notre Dame is not in this spot? Because I think if Miami loses that game week one, they're not even in the college football playoff. Mario Cristobal has done a great job, but I do feel like their season does conclude here. I'm going to take Indiana, but again, an upset from Miami, I don't think would be bad for the sport. I am hoping for a great game. I'm just not sure that we get one. Like that clip from the Brandsworth podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brandsworth podcast right here on YouTube.